What's up, everybody? It's me, Joe Pisapia, and this is week 4, the live stream. I know you've all been waiting for it. And of course, like every Sunday, I come dressed to impress, ready to help all of you set your lineups. We got to get to business. And before we get to the business of your questions, I just want to let everybody know that today's show is brought to you by Stat Hero. Do you know that 58% of people who play daily fantasy sports lose? That's truth. Isn't surprising? The game is rigged against you. You're playing against thousands of other lineups, not to mention experts who have more tools and more time than you do, and you don't stand a chance. Introducing the first ever daily fantasy sports book, Stat Hero. Stat Hero puts the player in control and winning within reach. Here's how it works. Stat Hero shows you their lineup and dares you to beat them. It's you versus the house in a head-to-head fantasy matchup to the death. You name your stakes, winner take all, and you have the advantage. Stat Hero is showing you their lineup ahead of time. No one else does that. You are in total control, and Stat Hero is DFS the way it was meant to be. One-on-one. Play Stat Hero now and change the odds. Go to stathero.com, sign up for free, and use the promo code FantasyPros on your first deposit to get 100% bonus match. What do you have to lose? That's stathero.com, promo code FantasyPros. Get playing today. All right, boys and girls, let's kick things off here and let's start to get your questions here. And again, I want to thank everybody for joining us here. I see one here already. Lockett or Gibson, full PPR. Neither guy is healthy. Always a tricky situation there. I'm going to lean towards the matchup here, and the matchup for me is going to be Gibson in that one against Atlanta. It's just too good of a matchup to pass up. Yes, J.D. McKissic's there. I get that. I understand the concern. But at the same time, with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, you're just never sure whose game it's going to be. And with Lockett being banged up, I wonder if he becomes more of a decoy potentially in this game anyhow. So give me Gibson. All right, let's go to the next one here. And that was from Tristan Shelton, by the way. Thank you, Tristan, for the question. Also, let's go through some of the injuries at the top as well. But before we do, let's answer another question. And that is Hunt, Juju, and Devontae Smith, rank them. I can only assume I'm ranking them for this week, in which case I'm going to rank them actually in that order. Give me Kareem Hunt, give me Juju, give me Devontae Smith third in that grouping there. Rest of season, I probably have Juju just a tad higher than Hunt because I do think Juju's just safe and Hunt is a little bit more volatile, but I think Hunt's going to continue to work in this offense today. It's a really tricky matchup here against Minnesota, so we shall see what goes on. I think Minnesota's going to put points on the board. Cleveland's going to have to keep pace. That's a good thing for Kareem Hunt's fantasy value. Let's go to Casey next here. Casey, who is the better tight end for full PPR? Cook or Cameron Brate? And thank you very much for sending your thoughts to Tags' family. Appreciate that, Casey. For me this week, this is a tricky one. With Gronk out, I know a lot of people want to pivot to Brate, and I think if you want to just play for the touchdown, that's fine. I don't know how much Brate's going to give you outside of that potential. So I'm going to actually pivot to Cook here. And the reason is I think he's a little bit more a part of that offense, a little bit more integrated. Plus, you got the 3 healthy wide receivers. AB's back for this game. Tom Brady in New England is going to probably want to sling the ball. It's not saying Brady can't catch a touchdown, but I think the floor of Cook is a little safer this week. And I think I'm going to go towards Cook. Cook would have had a touchdown the other day, too. Fortunately, got called back on that play. So that's the way I'm going here. Let's go to Charles, half PPR. Kick returns. Ooh, that's in play. All right. OBJ or Felton? What? OBJ. No. I understand the Felton possibility. I get that. You still got to go with OBJ there. I think that's pretty easy. All right, let's go next. I want to thank Russell Brown for the donation, by the way. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. Bishop favorites. Morning, Joe. Good morning, Bishop. Standard League sit 2. Brandon Cooks, Deontay Johnson, Darrell Henderson, Mike Davis, and Antonio Brown. Well, I can tell you Mike Davis is hitting the pine. I don't want him in there. In a standard league, this is a little bit trickier because you're dealing with a lot more wide receivers. I think I got to start AB in this game, especially with Gronk out. I got to start DJ because of the volume. So that really become a question of Cooks or Darrell Henderson. I think looking at this is a really tough matchup. I know Poyer's out for Buffalo, but still it's a very good secondary regardless. I think Buffalo probably does a good job of shutting down Cooks. So for me, I'm going to just lay a little bit with the safety of Darrell Henderson despite the injury. I'm going to lay there with Darrell Henderson instead, and I'm going to go on that side of things. Keep AB, keep DJ, keep Darrell Henderson. Take the volume. He's going to touch the football probably 15 times. I think that's good and safe, especially in standard league, possibly a little bit more touchdown equity. I know it's tough to sit Brandon Cooks. I get it. He's been fantastic. But at the same time, I think you have to look at this matchup here, and Houston's just outclassed here by Buffalo, and I think they're going to have trouble putting any points on the board. We shall see. Stranger things have happened. All right, let's go next to Jason Kenny. Thank you for your donation. Appreciate that. Next is Brandon Hall. He wants to know, need some fantasy help in a league with bonus points for yards and touchdowns. Who do you start, Lamar or Carr? I'm going to start Lamar Jackson. I understand, he's banged up. I understand it's a tough matchup on the road, all these things. But I just think the rushing upside of Lamar is just too much to give up here. Carr's outside of my top 12 QBs just by a hair. He's number 13 going into this week. It's not a terrible matchup for Carr, but it's very difficult for me to take Lamar Jackson out anytime. I know it's a tough situation. I think you got to play your studs here. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Maybe then you think about, can you get something better for Lamar and start playing Carr in your lineup if you're really frustrated with him, and see if you can improve your team elsewhere for the rest of the season. The other question, DeAndre Hopkins or Antonio Brown? I don't love Hopkins' matchup this week. Tough situation there against Jalen Ramsey. Against the Rams, he has not necessarily performed well either. You go back and look at last year's game log for Hopkins. And then on top of which, too, he's not 100% healthy. It's a bad combination of things for DeAndre Hopkins. I hate taking Hopkins out of a lineup, but if it's one week I'm going to do it, hurt against Jalen Ramsey, that's the week I'm going to do it. So go ahead. Antonio Brown's the way I'm going to go here in this one for better or worse. I actually think they have similar projectability this week. All right, let's go to the next one here. It's from RJ. Robbie Anderson, Mike Davis, Emmanuel Sanders, or Corey Davis. Pick two in PPR. Well, don't mind if I do there, RJ. RJ, I'm going to go with Robbie Anderson, and I think I'm going to go with Emmanuel Sanders. Don't tell Dan Harris I said that. Just please. He's unbearable. Whenever I say something positive about Emmanuel Sanders, Dan Harris pops in out of nowhere, out of the side of my screen. I guess, no, Dan Harris, get away. Just stay out of the side of my screen. All right. Look, Mike Davis just can't seem to get there right now. And then Corey Davis, it's a very tenuous spot. I understand theoretically he should be a good play against the bad defense of Tennessee, but Zach Wilson's played so poorly. I just have zero confidence in this Jets offense as a whole. So I'm going to put my faith with Sam Darnold. I'm going to put my faith in Josh Allen. Take the two guys with the better QBs. To me, that's the way you roll. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. At least those quarterbacks are putting you in position to get points. I think that's all you could possibly ask for. Let's keep the fun going here with another question. Again, if you have questions, make sure you subscribe to Fantasy Pros, because that's the only way you can get your question up here on the board for me, Joey P, to answer them. So if you haven't already, I suspect you have, but if you haven't already, subscribe to Fantasy Pros. Just click that little subscription button there. Click the little notifications. We got amazing programming going here, all of which is being run simultaneously by Chris. Chris is running 12,000 things at one time. It is stunning. It is unbelievable. But it's all happening just for you. And again, all the videos, all the podcasts, everything is here on our YouTube channel at Fantasy Pros. And you get to ask questions. And if you don't want to ask me a question, well, you can stick around. And after me, you can ask Dan Harris a question, or you can ask us the same question and see who's right. It's me. It's not Dan. All right, let's go to the next one here. Next one here is Jay Hawley. Jay Hawley, sit two. Gaskin, Melvin Gordon, Javonte, Zach Moss, Brandon Ayuk. Well, I can tell you right now, I'm sitting Brandon Ayuk till further notice. I just can't do it. I think I'm also going to sit Gaskin in this game. I'd actually play both of the Denver running backs in this contest. I know Gordon's a little banged up there. I think there's enough for both of these dogs to eat. And Zach Moss, I think game script wise, has a much better situation there. So I think Buffalo's going to be up by a lot. A couple more carries for Moss. He's got decent touchdown equity. I just don't know what the touchdown equity is for Gaskin, and Ayuk is. I know he's the wide receiver, and you want to lean that way in the PPR. But the problem is you can't do that right now because San Francisco's offense is literally all over the place. And that is incredibly frustrating for fantasy managers. It's probably frustrating for the players on the 49ers too. So Kyle Shanahan's making everybody miserable right now. At the same time, give me the two Denver guys, give me Zach Moss, and let's hope we get some touchdowns there out of that group. I think there's at least two, maybe three touchdowns between those three guys, and that's what I'm playing for. Playing for the touchdowns this week. All right, let's go to Kelly Kennedy. Full PPR, Jacoby Myers or Chuba Hubbard. Oh, it's a tricky one here. I think Jacoby Myers has the better floor. He is getting consistent targets. They're succeeding in those, wide receiver sets a little bit more than the 12 personnel, which I think is what you want to look at right now from the way that offense is running. You think they're going to have to throw the ball. I know they just signed Richard Sherman to Tampa. I don't think he really changes the dynamic of that secondary all that much. So for me, I think Myers is the safety play. Hubbard has a little bit more upside because he's going to touch the football more. So I think you look at the rest of your lineup, you look at who you're playing against, and you try to figure that out and say, okay, what do I need? Do I need 12 points and just be safe? Then okay, Jacoby Myers, I think, is that guy. If you need a little bit more upside, a little bit more touchdown potential, then I think it's definitely Hubbard. And the way lineups are looking right now, maybe Hubbard is indeed that guy this week for you. So that's how I would go ahead and figure them out. Let's go to another question here. Chris Clapp wants to know, Allen Robinson, Odell Beckham, or Robert Woods in PPR? Ooh, I can only pick one of them. This is tough. I have a feeling it's going to be the Robert Woods week. And here's why. We've got 3 games of film out there on what they're doing with Cooper Kupp. And I think eventually, NFL teams are seeing this. They're going to try to stop Cooper Kupp, make someone else beat them. And look, Robert Woods hasn't been completely useless this year. I'm worried about Allen Robinson and Fields and all the drama going on there in Chicago. It was not a pretty sight last week. Theoretically, it should be better against the Lions. Yes, of course. The best talent here is Allen Robinson, but that's not what we're trying to get to here. Odell might be the safest play because Odell just kind of ho-hum, going to get you some points. But I think if you want a little bit more upside, I think the upside lies in Woods. I think it's going to be a big matchup against the Cardinals. I have a hard time thinking that Rams offense does not go over 30 points today. If so, I think Woods is actually involved in this. It's just a matter of time before teams make you beat them with somebody else besides Cooper Kupp. And Cooper Kupp has been brilliant. Wide receiver 1 overall in the year, 5,000 targets. He's got 5 touchdowns already on the season. But I think Arizona is going to look at that and say, all right, we got to do everything we can and try to make Robert Woods or somebody else beat us. And Robert Woods probably still can. So I think I would go with Woods for the upside, Odell for the floor. Allen Robinson, I just need to see it. I don't like quarterback variables. And right now, Fields is a quarterback variable, and I'm not into it right now. I can't get there. All right, let's go to the next question here. John wants to know, need 2, Miles Sanders, Chuba Hubbard, and Trey Sermon. Look, it should be Trey Sermon, right? Theoretically, yes, it's a great matchup. I keep going back to the same thing. I don't trust Kyle Shanahan, and that makes me upset. So I'm going to take the matchup instead of Miles Sanders going against the worst rush defense potentially in the league, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to play him. You look at the game film from last week. Obviously, you need to run the football more. I think there's an overcorrection this week in doing that. Plus, you have to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. The only way to do that is to control the clock, which means you have to run the football. So give me Miles Sanders. Give me Hubbard as well. That's where I'm going there. I want it to be Trey Sermon, and let's hope that it is Trey Sermon, and he has a good game, and then going forward, he takes that job. That's what you'd like to see. Or you could trade him to the person who has Eli Mitchell and do pretty well. Hopefully, one of those 2 scenarios works out, and Hubbard and Miles Sanders play well, and then we're all happy when we come back here next week. Let's take another one of your questions here. Let's go with Michael. Michael wants to know, which side of the trade? Chubb, Tyreek Hill, Jared Cook, or Waller, Ridley, and Jamal? Well, as much as I love Darren Waller, I have to go with the side of the Chubb side. I mean, not just because of Chubb, but you're getting Chubb and Tyreek Hill. I mean, Tyreek Hill, one of the top 3 wide receivers in fantasy. Nick Chubb, I think, is a top 5 running back in fantasy. I expect him to have a big day today. So, yeah, I mean, I get that you like Waller, but at the same time, I'm definitely going with the Chubb Tyreek. You're getting not only one, but the 2 best players, I think, in this deal. This is a steal. And although Ridley's underperformed, I expect him to play better at some point. You have to play with what's working. Chubb, Tyreek Hill, I don't like downgrading to Cook. So even go pick up Dawson Knox or Conklin or somebody else like that. Give yourself some extra opportunities at the tight end position. Also, same person, Michael wants to know, Emmanuel Sanders, AB, Sermon, or Tim Patrick. AB for upside this week, Tim Patrick for floor. Tim Patrick's been very steady with the floor. You just want the points, take the points. Otherwise, you go with AB. I don't want to chase Emmanuel Sanders from last week if I can avoid it. I just don't want to do it. I think this is the Diggs game personally because I don't think Houston matches up well with Diggs. And we've seen other teams have a plan for Diggs. I don't think Houston has a plan for anything. I don't even have a plan how to get back to Houston after this game, but we shall see. Let's move on here. Allen, PPR, need 1. Devontae Smith, Antonio Brown, and Davis. I'm going to stay with AB here. I'm going to go back to the AB well in New England. No Gronk. Brady trusts Antonio Brown. I just think these guys are going to have a good night together in Foxborough. We shall see. I know it's scary because of all the other wide receivers they have, but at least you take Gronk out of the equation in this. That means a little bit more target share is at least on the table, and I think that's a good thing. Next here, Logan wants to know Waddle or Sermon in my flex, full PPR. Full PPR, I got to go with the volume that Jalen Waddle's getting since Brissett's taken over at quarterback too. It's been very steady. I think he had 14 targets last week. Look, Jalen Waddle is an extraordinary talent. I think he's the best wide receiver already in that wide receiving core in Miami. Sermon theoretically is there. I get it. Seattle's terrible against the run. I understand this. But can we get 15 carries? I don't know. Are we going to get 10? Are we going to get Kyle Juszczyk? I don't know. Are we going to get Deebo Samuel running the football? There's too many questions. I want answers. Jalen Waddle's easy. Jalen Waddle's double-digit points probably in the bank. Who knows? Maybe upside for more, too, in this matchup this week against Indianapolis. They have some issues on defense, too. They got to figure them out fast. Next year, Ryan wants to know, Sanders or Henderson as RB2? I'm going to go with Sanders here. Normally, I would go with Henderson, but I think the matchup is too good. The overcorrection is coming. Sanders is how I would go. Next, Mike Williams, Ridley, McLaurin at wide receiver 2. And which one of those guys, not chosen, should I flex? Wide receiver 2, I don't know how you take Mike Williams out of any lineup and you put McLaurin in a lineup and you sit Ridley. And I know that sucks because you spent more draft capital on Ridley, but who cares? Draft capital's out the window. It's October 3rd. What are you doing? Forget draft capital. Who's playing well? W's. And you know what? This is good because eventually Ridley will get right, hopefully. And then you have 3 very viable options, and that's going to cover your bye weeks, which you're going to need in these upcoming weeks ahead. Let's go to another one here. Michael Caputo, my people. What's up, Michael? 2 flex spots to fill. Torn between Lockett, Kareem Hunt, or Hopkins. Standard league. Ooh, I know why you're torn here, especially in a standard league. I don't like the Hopkins matchup. It's really bad. I think the highest volume guy here is Kareem Hunt. He's going to probably get some carries. That's a good thing. He's going to get some catches. That's a good thing. All-purpose yards, probably somewhere in the 80 range, I would imagine. Touchdown upside. I know Lockett's been great. However, Lockett is not 100%. Give me the healthy guy who's going to touch the football for sure. That's the way I'm going, especially in the flex area. Oh, wait, you can start 2 of them. Oh, goodness. Things just got better. Give me Lockett and Kareem Hunt, sit Hopkins. I know it breaks my heart. It's terrible. Don't worry. Next week will be better. Next, Russell Brown wants to know, Fournette or Chuba Hubbard? Yeah, I'm going to go with Chuba here in this one. Just have zero faith in the Tampa Bay backfield. It's all Tom Brady slinging the ball all over the place. That's just what it feels like. Now watch, it'll probably be Fournette tonight, but I think you got to put your best foot forward here, and I think you got to try with Hubbard. And look, Chuba's been catching the football too. He showed you in a little glimpse last week, and I think that's a big positive thing there. All right, let's move on to another question here of yours. And let's see, there we go. Mopar wants to know, Ridley or Antonio Brown? This is a tougher one. I think you look at the rest of your lineup, and if you can sustain potentially another disappointing week from Calvin Ridley, I would play Calvin Ridley because I do think it's a good matchup. Washington's defense has not played well. They're giving up a lot of yardage in the secondary. It's not great. Antonio Brown has to fight a little bit more. Ridley doesn't have to fight for targets. I think Ridley is the safer play. However, if you're already behind from something that happened on Thursday Night Football, if you're already dealing with a ton of injuries, I think AB has more upside. So Ridley the floor, AB the upside for me in this one. Dan Fries wants to know, full PPR, pick 2, at least 1 running back. Mike Davis, I don't want to. Cordell Patterson, I don't want to. Nyheim Hines, okay, I'll take Nyheim Hines, especially in PPR. He's touching the football a lot. And then Rondell Moore. Give me Rondell Moore. I think he's got some upside in this game today, especially with Hopkins being hurt. He's going to have to look for AJ Green. He's going to have to look for Moore a little bit more. It's never too early for a dad joke. Okay, so give me Moore, give me Hines. That's where I'm going this week. I'm just going to stay away from the Falcons. I can't anymore with the Falcons. I hope they break out this week. I hope that offense looks good. I hope Kyle Pitts catches 5 touchdowns. But you can hope in one hand and you know what in the other and see which fills up first. All right, let's go to the next one here, and it's Damian Harris or Trey Sermon. That's from JM Moss 66. Oh, in the half PPR, I really hate this matchup for Damian Harris. I really do against Tampa. This is a really tough matchup for him. JPP is out again this week. That's helpful in terms of lack of pass rush, but still, I don't know. I think I'm actually going to roll the dice with Sermon in this one. Oh, it's so frustrating. I'm going to play the matchup because I think it's very close. I'm going to hope for the best, maybe go outside and wish upon a star, and hope that Trey Sermon actually can take a step forward in this backfield. I want to give him a pass because last week he was in concussion protocol and still showed up and played to the best of his abilities. I'm hoping another week removed from that concussion is a good thing. The matchup's a good thing. Let's try to play the matchup here and get some points with Sermon and see what happens. Warren wants to know, good morning, Joe. Good morning, Warren. It's nice to see you, my friend. Full PPR, Juju, Robert Woods, or Pittman. Juju's the safe play. Woods has the upside. I do not like what I've seen this year to Ben Roethlisberger. Nobody has. Certainly not any Pittsburgh Steeler fan or anybody in fantasy. But Juju's kind of a safe play, especially with Claypool out, one less mouth to feed. I think Juju's fine, double-digit points. But I think Woods' game is coming. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. You can come back and yell at me next week if you want. But I think that Woods' game is coming. So give me Woods in this one. Juju for floor, Woods for upside. Take a look at your lineup, take a look at your opponent, and see which one you need, and we'll figure it out. Next here on the list, Luis wants to know, Zach Moss or Melvin Gordon? It's in a PPR, which is tough. Melvin Gordon's banged up. Does not make this one easy. I think you still play Melvin Gordon despite the injury, despite Devontae Williams. Moss is a good flex play this week. I like where the Moss trend is going. I think it's a good game script for Moss. If you're terrified of playing Gordon, I think it's okay to start Moss if you want. I don't think at the end of the day is going to be too different. But I do think Gordon is just slightly safer in terms of what he brings to this offense. Again, Moss is a little touchdown dependent, but then again, most running backs at this point are, especially the guys in that low RB2 class that you're looking as flex. But I think I would still go a hair to Melvin Gordon, not by much, but a hair to Melvin Gordon. Next, David wants to know full PPR, Gaskin or Juju. I'm going to go back to the same thing I said about Juju before. I think with Claypool out, things are a little bit easier for him. Matchup-wise, Green Bay defensively is middling, I think. I don't think they're anything to write home about. And Juju, I think, is going to see his 8 to 10 targets or somewhere in that range, and I think he's going to give you a safe floor. Gaskin's a little tougher to know. You also got to worry sometimes, too, about, the identity of what this Miami offense is, especially with Brissett. I think Brissett wants to throw the football a little bit. Gaskin's a fine play, but in the full PPR, I think I lean a little bit towards Juju's side there. I think Juju, once again, safer floor, build that in, take the points and get out. Gaskin a little bit more variable there. Don't care for that. Next here, Raiders fan. Raiders fan wants to know, Dalvin Cook or Javonte Williams half PPR? Bro. If Dalvin Cook is playing, you play Dalvin Cook. Every time, all the time. He's Dalvin Cook. I love Javonte Williams. Bro. You never sit Dalvin Cook if he's in the lineup. You got to play him. He's the whole reason for you playing fantasy this year with that team. That's what you got to do. I like Javonte Williams, but Dalvin Cook. All right, next here, Sorry, I just had to get one more in. Let's go to another one here. Let's go to D-Live. DeAndre Swift or Leonard Fournette? That is the question here. No question for me. I know Swift's banged up. I'm going to start him as long as he's starting. He's been pretty solid this year, much to my surprise. I was a little concerned with Swift. So far, so good for him. Leonard Fournette, still a bit of an enigma for me. Sorry, can't get there. Give me DeAndre Swift. Next is Dan. What up, Joey? What up, Dan? My boy. Half PPR, flex, Corey Davis, Jalen Waddle, Darrell Henderson, or Trey Sermon. I'm going to take Jalen Waddle here. I think he has the best opportunity to get you the best point total that you can sleep at night with. Darrell Henderson, not healthy. Corey Davis, bad quarterback. Trey Sermon, we just don't know. What I would do, though, Dan, I would seriously think if Trey Sermon has a good game, packaging him with Corey Davis to improve somewhere else, get a better wide receiver, somebody else you can throw in the flex, because I think you're going to be frustrated with this carousel every week. And it's going to be a spot where you're playing the wrong guys. And there's somebody out there that's hurting for running back. If Trey Sermon has a good game, this is a perfect opportunity to trade him off if you don't want to get involved anymore. I like Trey Sermon. I think he should see all the touches. Kyle Shanahan has different ideas than I do. We're going to have to sit and hash this out, he and I. But I think Jalen Waddle is the guy I want to play this week in the half. I think he gives you that safe double-digit points that you're looking for. Henderson not 100%. This game could be a little bit more of a shootout. We shall see. Chris wants to know, full PPR, the Terminator, the Timinator, Tim Patrick, or Curtis Samuel. I like that Samuel is back. He's intriguing, but not over the Timinator. Chris, you know this. We got to go with the Timinator. Timinator's been solid. Timinator isn't winning you a league, but you know what? He might win you a week. And we'll see if Curtis Samuel can kind of work himself into this offense right away. He might have a very good game. It's very possible, especially against Atlanta, right? Defense in Atlanta is not necessarily their forte. But at the same time, I think I'm going to take the points with Tim Patrick. It's a good matchup against Baltimore. Baltimore's had trouble, again, giving up a ton of yards through the air to a lot of teams this year. Next year, Aaron wants to know, Wilson or Dak? Ooh, you've got two of these top quarterbacks. Why do you have two of them? You got to trade one of these guys. I don't care which one. In a single quarterback league, it's 12-team league, let's say. This is crazy. Every week you're going to be playing this game. You're going to hate your life. Turn one of them. I don't care which because they're pretty close. I prefer to trade Russell Wilson. I think I play Dak today just because I think that Cowboys offense just operates at just a slightly higher tier. Russell Wilson's very good. They're very close. They're probably right there, 4, 5, 5, 6, whatever you want to call it. But you got to trade one of these guys. Improve somewhere else. Somebody out there's got to be disappointed with their quarterback play. The Lamar Jackson person, the Ryan Tannehill person. Somebody out there is not happy. Bye weeks are coming. You can stream a quarterback for 1 week. You have two top 6 quarterbacks here. Deal one of them in a single quarterback league. But I would be playing Dak this week over Russell Wilson. It is very, very close there, but that's the way I would go. Outdoorsman, excuse me. AZ Arizona Outdoorsman wants to know, higher upside, Jared Cook or Dawson Knox? Neither, but I think Dawson Knox this week in the matchup against Houston's the way I would try to play that. That's where I would go. Upside's not what you're playing for with either of these guys. You're just hoping somebody gets points. I have a little bit more faith actually right now in Dawson Knox getting the points. Jake from State Farm wants to know, Cortland Sutton or Odell, full PPR flex. A tricky one here for sure. I think we just go with Odell Beckham. I'm not a big fan, but I think it's a decent matchup here for him. I think I'll just by a hair go with Odell. If you started Sutton, it's not a big deal. Again, I think they're just neck and neck. This is splitting hairs. I'll probably favor Odell just by very little in this one this week. Matthew wants to know, PPR flex, Patterson or CH? CH, definitely CH. I think this is a good opportunity for him against the Eagles. You saw what the running backs did to the Eagles defense last week in Dallas. I hope that the Kansas City Chiefs are starting to realize that they've got to get a little bit more balance. Just a little bit more balance here. They're becoming predictable. And no matter how good you are, right? This happened to the Patriots years ago in Tom Brady's peak too. You got to diversify a little bit. You got to show them you could do some other things. Patrick Mahomes is out of this world. He's the best quarterback in the league. We get all that. But at the same time, you got to run the football a little bit. You got to get some differentiation in the offense, and I think CEH does that. This week, it's a good matchup. Let's go. Michael Lewis wants to know, Zach Pascal or Marquez Callaway in PPR? Oh, goodness gracious. I don't like either of these options. Both are very frustrating here. Pascal's the touchdown guy, but he's touchdown dependent. This is a tough one. I think I lean towards Callaway against the Giants. That's where I would go this week. That Giants team is so bad. It's on the road, and it's tough because Winston hasn't broken 150 yards passing yet in a game. Could you believe that? He has not broken 150 yet. How is that possible? It is. Let's keep going. Full PPR. Ryan wants to know, Gibson or Chuba Hubbard? I got to start Gibson. I get it. You're frustrated. If Gibson is starting against Atlanta, you have to play Gibson. If he's not, Chuba Hubbard's a very fine replacement. But you drafted Antonio Gibson with a second-round pick. You put investment around him. He is a good player. These first few weeks have been a little slow. I get it. This is the matchup here. And if it doesn't happen this week, then you can start having the bigger conversation. Okay, what do I do? How do I address it? But Atlanta's been dreadful. So I got to go with Gibson here. I understand the question. It's not crazy to think about it. I'd still will go with Gibson. Next, PPR, Gesicki or Knox? This is from Sig. Sig, I got to go with Gesicki off the enormous amount of second half targets last week. And back in the day, too, Brissett seemed to like to throw to the tight end over there in Indianapolis. So I actually think Gesicki is a decent play in the full PPR this week. I think he's a decent DFS play at quarterback, too, especially on DK in the full PPR. I think he's 4K-ish, somewhere around there. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tannehill or Carr. Go give me Carr. Give me Carr. I don't want to muck around with Tannehill and the Jets this week and that whole thing. This smells of trap to me. I hate it. It should be a cakewalk. He's got none of his wide receivers. They should win this game handily despite the shortcomings of this defense and this offense right now. But at the same time, I'm going to go with Carr. Carr deserves it. Carr's played very well this year. I'm going to go with Carr. I'm going to sit Tannehill this week. It just feels like a game, too, where they could be up by a lot, and you're just running the football with even backup running backs and things like that. There's so many questions. I think it's going to be competitive. Vegas and the Chargers, Herbert and Carr, that's going to be a competitive football game. You can make a lot of cases that the Jets-Titans is not a competitive football game. So for me, I think that's the way I go as I pause for a drink. This pause is brought to you by FantasyPros. And now we're back in the action. See, it was a quick one. And we get back to answering your questions here. Are we having fun? I hope we are. Because it's Sunday, it's football, and we all need the games today more than ever. Let's go to another question here, and this is from Henning. Hey, Joe, PPR, flex, Darrell Henderson or Javonte Williams? Tricky. In the PPR, neither of these guys really thrilling. I think I'm just going to play for the single running back here and go with Darrell Henderson this week and just play it out. Hope for the best here that Henderson touches the ball 15 times and maybe finds the end zone. If he does, good. Javonte Williams is a really good piece, though, so don't go looking to trade him. I do think as the season goes on, we get some more clarity there. Melvin Gordon already dealing with injuries. This is not new. So hang on to Javonte Williams. I would play Darrell Henderson today against the Cardinals because I just want to play that total a little bit. Next is Martin Medina. Joe! Martin! What's up, Holmes? Flex, OBJ or Sermon? I think I still got to play OBJ. I still got to do it. You know I don't like OBJ. You know I'm not a fan. I got to do it this week. I just don't trust Shanahan. And I hope, let me reiterate this, because people are going to say, Joe, you've been telling me about Trey Sermon for months and months. I know, but I forgot about Kyle Shanahan. And Kyle Shanahan needs to prove it to me in this matchup. I'm sorry. He just has to. And if he does, great. I feel much better going forward. If he doesn't, well, then we have a problem. Let's go to the next one here. Jennifer wants to know, Jacobs, Barber, or Waddle standard flex? This is tricky because you have to wait to the last minute to make this. Now, it's a standard league, so I'm going to lean towards a running back. Because you've got Jacobs and Barber, I think you can afford to wait this out and make it the game time decision. So it's a good matchup against the Chargers. Chargers have given up a lot of rushing yards. If Jacobs plays, you play Jacobs. If Jacobs is out, you feel better about playing Barber in a standard. I think that's what I would do because you're playing for the touchdown. And I just think in the standard league, there's a little bit more touchdown equity with the running backs than Waddle. If this was a half PPR even, I would go with Waddle. Full, no question. But I think in the standard, that's the way I would go. And Jennifer, stop playing in the standard leagues. Come on, get the group together. It's time to get into 2021 or 2022 next year. Let's get at least a half PPR going. Okay. Brad Greer wants to know, full PPR, Robert Woods or Hollywood Brown? Oh, Hollywood Brown. So many chances right through the fingertips of Hollywood Brown. Right through them every time. It would not shock me in the least to see Hollywood Brown have a bounce back game. But you know what? I'm going to stay on this Robert Woods train. I'm on the Robert Woods train today for better or worse. So I'm going to either crash the train into the station, or this is going to be the express to fantasy goodness. I believe it's going to be the express today. I think we see Robert Woods finally show up and everybody takes a big sigh of relief in week 4. We'll find out if I'm right. Sometime Sunday night, we'll have the answer. Next here, James wants to know, Ingram the third or Ronald Jones in a standard league? Oh my goodness. Why are we here? What happened to get here? James, I'm so sorry. This is terrible. Terrible news. Ingram. Gross. I hate this question. I hate the answer. I'm sorry. Just try with Ingram and hope for the best. Jay himself, Higbee or Robert Tonyan. I think you go with Higbee here in the PPR especially, and you try to play the odds a little bit. McLaurin or Lockett. Lockett banged up. McLaurin smash matchup here against the Falcons. Give me Terry McLaurin. I love Terry McLaurin this week. Let's go TMC. All right. DJ Rodriguez is next up here with a question. And by the way, before we're out of here, make sure that if you haven't already, subscribe to Fantasy Pros YouTube page so you can ask a question. You can't ask a question in the chat unless you subscribe to Fantasy Pros. That is the catch. That's how they get you. So make sure you already go over to Fantasy Pros and subscribe here on their YouTube channel and click that notifications bell while you're at it. Make sure you get all the great content they were pumping out here every single day. We got live streams for Start Sit. We have got all the podcasts on there with me. And of course, we've got some fantastic video work. You got the pickups, you got the start sits, again, all the interactive stuff we do here on our YouTube page. It's fantastic. And speaking of interactive, and speaking of the YouTube page, right after me, you get Dan Harris. So I'm basically just the opening act here for Dan Harris. So here I am jerking the curtain, and Dan Harris is going to be the guy who takes you all home. So stick around. If you just joined us and you didn't get your question answered yet, stick around. Dan Harris will be here at noon to take you through all the way up until kickoff. Let's continue on here with DJ. Emmanuel Sanders or Robbie Anderson for flex, half PPR. I am going on the limb today with Robbie Anderson. I think Carolina is going to finally be challenged by a real offense. They were not challenged by the Texans. They were not challenged by the Jets, but they will be challenged today against the Cowboys. Give me Robbie Anderson in this. I'm not going to chase last week for Emmanuel Sanders. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't care. Robbie Anderson, I will still sleep at night if I'm wrong about this. I've got Robbie Anderson in lineups too. I'm starting him this week, so I will live and die this with you. Remember, I would never tell you anything I wouldn't put into my own lineups. That's why I take this seriously. That's why I'm here. So if we succeed, and we succeed together. If we fail together. Let's move on here to the next one. Friend of the show. I love friends of the show. Morning, Joe. Good morning, friend. Ayuk or Rondell Moore? Rondell Moore until I see it. Easy. I can't. Ayuk is no. Moore. Let's go. Next, Scott Shiva wants to know, Sermon or Hines, PPR? Already starting Taylor. Oh, yikes. This makes it complicated. If we're already starting Taylor here, then we're really tied in. This gives me pause because I wanted to say Hines until I saw that little part of the question here. I think I still might say Hines because it's PPR and because they're getting him the football. Oh, this is so frustrating, and you can almost feel it in your bones that Trey Sermon will be good this week against Seattle, but I don't think you can do that with a good, clear head right now. I just don't think you can. So give me Hines, give me Taylor, and hope that Indianapolis has a really good day against Miami. All right, next one here. Justin wants to know, Knox, Gesicki, or Ferkser in a PPR? In the PPR, I'm going to go with Gesicki. Look, maybe it doesn't repeat 2 weeks in a row, but I will tell you this much. They absolutely have an opportunity again to throw the football this week. Even if he gets 8 targets, that's a lot of targets for a tight end. I don't need 14. Give me 8. Give me 10. That is amazing. Knox, I don't think gets that kind of target share. Ferks are not even close. All right, next. Robert Rainier wants to know, CH or Javonte? I love Javonte. Give me CH. It's a good matchup for him against the Eagles. Give me CEH. Nimbus Cloud, start 2 in a standard. Woods, Ridley, Thielen, and Deebo Samuel. I'm definitely starting Thielen. Oh, the second one is tricky, especially in the standard because I want the touchdown equity. This is tough. Things have really gone Deebo Samuel way in the opening here, but this is trickier for sure in the standard. I think I'm still going to go with Woods. I'm on this Woods train. If Lovin Woods is wrong this week, I don't want to be right. There you have it. Shea, AB or Corey Davis, AB. Even in the standard league, yes, absolutely, of course. Yes, AB. I'm sorry. Tom Brady or Zach Wilson? Tom Brady. Zach Wilson. Okay? So give me AB, standard league, half PPR, full PPR, any PPR. Don't care. I can't start him over. I just can't do it. Top flex options for Chris here. Hines or Juju, full PPR. This is very, very close here. I think I played Juju. I think he's got a little bit more touchdown upside than Hines in this matchup. That's where I would go. Next is Geraldo wants to know, Gaskin or Ayuk in the standard? Give me Gaskin. Give me the running back. Give me the touches. WizKid wants to know, are you fading Lockett on full PPR with his injury if he suits up? If Lockett's playing and I don't have I need at least a Tim Patrick safe option or a Jacoby Myers to play. If you don't have those kind of options, like say you had Claypool when he's out too, If Lockett's on the field, I'll play him unless I've got an option where the matchup is good and the wide receivers played well. If it's a matter of Ayuk or Tyler Lockett, you're playing Tyler Lockett. That's the logic I'd be using today. JMC or JM McGowan, I believe. Tyler Higbee or Kyle Pitts. This is a tricky one here. Man, when's the Kyle Pitts game going to happen? I keep waiting for it, and I keep watching Matt Ryan miss him in the end zone every week, and it's getting a little frustrating. I think it's going to come eventually. But you know what? Going to take the points and get out. Give me Tyler Higbee. Ugh, goodness gracious. Can we please, Matt Ryan, are you listening? Can we please get Kyle Pitts going? All of us. We want Kyle Pitts to get going. Now, I know you're all playing fantasy this week, and if you're playing daily fantasy this week, I want you to know that 58%, actually, wait a minute. No, that's not even close. 85% of people who play daily fantasy lose. 85? Can you believe that number's that high? The game is rigged against you. And if you're playing against thousands of other lineups, not to mention experts, you have more tools and more time. They all have more tools and more time at their disposal. You don't stand a chance. Introducing the first ever daily fantasy sportsbook, Stat Hero. Stat Hero puts the player in control and winning within your reach. And here's how it works. Stat Hero shows you their lineup and dares you to beat them. It's you versus the house in a head-to-head fantasy matchup. You name your stakes, winner take all, and you have the advantage because Stat Hero is showing you their lineup ahead of time. No one else does that. You are in total control at Stat Hero. Stat Hero DFS is the way that DFS was meant to be played one-on-one. So play Stat Hero now and change the odds. 85%, that's a huge number. Go to stathero.com, sign up for free, and use that promo code FantasyPros on your first deposit and get 100% bonus match. Again, what do you have to lose? That's stathero.com, promo code Fantasy Pros. So get after that. Again, it's stathero.com. All right, let's get to your questions here. Leon wants to know, Leon, half PPR flex, Ruggs or Patrick? Give me Patrick. Give me the points. Let me get out. I know Ruggs has a lot of upside, but again, I don't like the variable. I like to keep it simple. And Tim Patrick, the Timinator, has been keeping things simple. As I see my producer, Chris, now eating a nice big bowl of Magic Spoon. I hope that's going well for you, Chris. He's probably not even listening to me right now. I'm not sure if he's got the fruity or the frosted. He's got one of the two, pretty sure. Let's go on here. Desperately need to go to the bathroom. Is that what? I thought that was a question here. It's not. It's just Chris saying that he just can't stay up here all the time. Oh, I love you, Chris. I'm becoming Ron Burgundy in my old age. I'm just reading whatever's on here. Ricardo, just keep eating your Magic Spoon, Chris. Just keep eating whatever it is you're doing. Ricardo wants to know, Joey B, full point PPR, Waddle or Kenny Golladay. Give me Waddle. I don't trust Kenny Golladay. There's only one wide receiver left standing. That's not a good thing for Kenny Golladay. That means you just got to stop Kenny Golladay. Hello? No Shepard, no Slayton, just Kenny Golladay, who's underperformed already on the road in New Orleans, who's played well defensively? No. Gross. Kenny Golladay has a great game. Fine, so be it. Give me Waddle. Next, Lopez wants to know, drop one. Ooh, drop one. This is serious stuff. Half PPR, Tyson Williams, Elijah Mitchell, or Rondell Moore. Man, I got to drop Eli Mitchell here, and I know it's going to piss a lot of people off. You could drop Tyson too. If you have Sermon, then that's fine. Keep Elijah Mitchell, but he's been hurt a couple weeks in a row. I don't know. Jeffrey Wilson Jr. is coming. It's just looking like a bad free agent pickup. I tried to warn everybody. I tried my best on the waiver wire show, but I know it's exciting. You see a guy week one play really well, and everybody wants to spend all their fab, but I don't know. Tyson's not going in the right direction either. Baltimore has no idea what they're doing with that run game right now. And if you had on your bingo card that Le'Veon Bell and Josh Gordon would both be active in week 4 in 2021, then you're better than me. Congratulations. All right. We've got about 10 minutes left here before we pass things off here to Dan Harris. But before we do, let's get to Andrew's question here. Harris or AB in the standard league? Even in the standard, yards are yards. I think AB has more upside for yards. He might even have more touchdown equity in this game. Give me AB. Next, Max wants to know, Cooks, Rondell Moore, or Carson full point PPR? A Rondell or Carson or Cooks? I'm going to go with Chris Carson here. Sorry. I mean, give me the running back. Touchdown equity. Good matchup here, I think, for him. In division matchup. I'll take Chris Carson. I don't like the Cooks matchup today against that very tough Buffalo secondary. Rondell Moore, again, just a little limited in terms of how much he's on the field compared to some other guys. Chris Carson, he's on the field the whole time. Points are points, and Chris Carson can catch the football. Let's not forget that. Next year, let's see, RRC Cleaning Services. Need one. Half-point PPR. Nick Westbrook, Emmanuel Sanders, or Tim Patrick. I'm still going to go with Tim Patrick here. Again, I just want the safe points. I don't like the potential of Emmanuel Sanders maybe not showing up in this one. Westbrook is the last man standing, but again, that's not always a slam dunk good thing. I think Westbrook will be fine. I think Emmanuel Sanders will be fine. I think Tim Patrick will be good. So give me Tim Patrick. Next, Terry McLaurin or Rondell Moore. Don't make me bro you. Don't make me do it. Don't make me do it. Bro. Terry McLaurin or Rondell Moore. Bro. Terry McLaurin. It's got to be Terry McLaurin. Okay. Next is, I think people are asking me these questions just to hear me bro them, which is fine. We're here for the football. We're here for the entertainment. That's all fine. Cat Lady V wants to know Trey or Sermon in full PPR. I'm confused by this question. Trey or Sermon? How about Trey Sermon? I don't know. If you have the real question here, I'm not sure what it is, but we'll find out. All right, next year, half PPR, Robert Woods or Chase Edmonds. You know what? In the half PPR, I'm going to go with the touches for Edmonds. I know I don't love this. I really don't, but I think this is the way I go here. I'll tell you what. If you need upside in this lineup, I would play Woods because Woods can get to a point total that there's no way Chase Edmonds can get to. But if you just need floor points and you like your matchup and you're playing well, you just don't want to take a 0 or a bad spot, I get that, then Chase Edmonds is the way I go for this one. Next, Kyle wants to know Sermon or Cordero Patterson, full PPR. I'll go with Sermon in this one. Finally found someone that I want to start or sit, I should say, over Trey Sermon. So give me Sermon in this one. Finally, we got him out there. Yay! Rejoice, Fantasy Pros community. Pick 2 here. Darrell Henderson, CEH, Sermon, and Woods in the standard league. Give me CEH, give me Woods. Let's go. Next, Stephen Webb wants to know full point PPR, Corey Davis or Leonard Fournette. Gross. I'll go Corey Davis here. I don't like it. I don't feel good about it. I'm not happy about it, but it's the way I'm going to go. Next, Michael Watson wants to know Allen Robinson or Corey Davis. I'm still going to live and die with Allen Robinson. Take the talent. Both quarterback situations are a mess right now. I'm just going to play the matchup a little bit and hope that against the Lions that Fields plays better this week. He can't play worse, can he? Can he? I hope not. All right. Next, Edgar, Matt Davis, or Deontay Johnson, full PPR. DJ, all the way. I assume you mean Mike Davis and not Matt Davis. Come on, we got to clean up these questions here, everybody. I got 5,000 questions to get to, and you start asking me Trey or Sermon, and you start calling people Matt Davis. I'm at a loss. I assume you mean Mike Davis. Give me Deontay Johnson, even so. Fournette or Gaskin, half PPR. You know, this is a tricky one here. I think what I do is I play on the upside here of the offense of the Bucs. So give me Fournette here. This is very close. It's very close. I think I will go with Fournette over Gaskin this particular week. Next here, Brandon wants to know full PPR, Chuba Hubbard or Moss. In the full PPR, I would lean towards Hubbard there just because he's going to catch the football. Moss will not. Moss has better touchdown equity in this game, though. But at the same time, I think Hubbard has enough to make up that differential. Next, DeAndre Hopkins or Jacoby Myers. Ooh, you know what, man? This is a tragedy. I don't like sitting DeAndre Hopkins, but I'm really concerned. If you want to play Hopkins, even with the bad matchup, okay. The problem is it's Ramsey, it's a bad matchup, and he's hurt. He's playing through it, which is great, but I'm still a little concerned there, and I think concerned enough that gives me pause. I'll put it to you this way. If you just need the points, you take Myers and you put him in the lineup. If you need upside, Myers' upside is always going to be limited. And the reason why is because he doesn't score touchdowns. Now, hopefully he'll score a touchdown today. But again, we've seen in the past, that's not really his bag. So if you need the upside, you play Hopkins and you just cross your fingers and hope for the best. If you just want double-digit points, you take Myers and you get out of town. Next, let's go to Bob here. Bob wants to know in a PPR, pick 2, Jonathan Taylor, Darrell Henderson, CH. I'd like to pick CH. And unfortunately, Jonathan Taylor is the next best one for me. I don't know about Darrell Henderson in this matchup, compared to the other guys. I don't love the offensive line injuries here going on with Quentin Nelson out. I don't love the Indianapolis offense as a whole, but a little stat nugget that I picked up from Andrew Erickson this week. that second right now in the league in terms of the carries close down to the goal line is Jonathan Taylor, but he has 0 touchdowns down there. Hopefully that changes this week. We shall see if it does. Let's go to Dominic here. Wide receiver 2, flex, pick 2. Okay, I will. Emmanuel Sanders, Robbie Anderson, Corey Davis, or Allen Robinson. I'm going to go with Robbie Anderson and Allen Robinson. I am playing for broke. I am not chasing Emmanuel Sanders from last week. I am not going to put my faith in Corey Davis and Zach Wilson. I don't care if they go off. I don't care. Give me Allen Robinson. Give me Robbie Anderson. I think Robbie Anderson. I think Woods. I think this is the week we all get right here. We shall see how it goes. Next here, Derek. Sounds crazy, but Cousins or Lamar Jackson. It doesn't sound crazy. I understand why. But here's the thing. What's crazy here is that you drafted 2 very good quarterbacks, and now in a single quarterback league, you're looking at this kind of a decision, which means one of these quarterbacks is more valuable to somebody else probably than you. Get out of this situation. This week, this particular week, I understand the allure of Kirk Cousins, but you can't in fantasy ever discount the rushing equity of Lamar Jackson. I know it's on the road. I know it's a difficult situation. I get all that. I can't take Lamar Jackson in my lineup. If you don't want Lamar Jackson in your lineup anymore, trade him, improve at running back, improve at wide receiver, and start playing Kirk Cousins the rest of the season. Otherwise, you play Lamar and Kirk Cousins is dealt. You can't do this to yourself and wonder what if every week. You put big time capital in Lamar. If you want out of Lamar, trade him and get a lot back for him. Otherwise, play him. Next year, Santiago wants to know, Moss or Saquon for this week? I still got to play Saquon Barkley. That's a bro. You still got to play Saquon Barkley. You do. I know Zach Moss is getting better and it's trending in the right direction, but bro, Saquon Barkley or Moss? If we are here already in week 4 where we're asking this question, we need to check ourselves. We need to take a deep breath, maybe some meditation, maybe some goat yoga. That will do somebody some good. I don't know, but perhaps we can get something going here for somebody here. No, we can't. We have to play Saquon for better or worse. And if you don't want to play Saquon anymore, again, if you don't want him on your team, trade him. Stop sitting him for Zach Moss. That can't be a good situation. Daryl wants to know, Waddle or Deontay Johnson, half-point PPR. You know, this is a tricky one. This is closer than people might think. I'm still going to go with DJ, especially with Claypool out. A lot more target share. You know the heavy volume is going to be there for him. I think he's got touchdown upside. I think he's got more touchdown upside than Waddle. I don't want to say a better quarterback at this point, having watched Ben Roethlisberger, but again, DJ is the guy for me. Next here, Jamie wants to know, Joey P, half PPR, Corey Davis or Robbie Anderson? Robbie Anderson. Let's go. Finally, they will be challenged. Finally, Robbie Anderson will answer the bell. And hopefully you'll see DJ Moore. You'll see Robbie Anderson. And when you have McCaffrey in a soft matchups here against the Jets, against the Houston Texans, why would you have to push the ball downfield? You don't have to push the ball downfield. Now they might have to. Everybody, all hands on deck this week against the Cowboys. And again, stick with us because in just a few moments, once again, I will go away. The opening act that is Joe Pisapia will go away and clear the stage for the main event, which is clearly Dan Harris here at Fantasy Pros. So make sure you stick with us. And if you want to ask our good friend Dan Harris a question, or you want to ask the same question you asked me to Dan Harris, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Fantasy Pros right now. Click that little notifications bell. Again, so much great content. The live streams, the podcasts, the videos. Dan Harris might put on a play at some point in week 6. I don't know. I can't say for sure that's going to happen, but I can't say for sure it's not going to happen. And if it does, it's going to happen on YouTube. Make sure you stick around for it. Let's keep going with some more of your questions here in these last few minutes before we send off and change over. Kyle wants to know, Javonte Williams or Zach Moss at RB2 full PPR. This one is very close. I don't love the situation here with the 2 running backs in Denver. I just don't. Williams is the better talent. I think it wins out overall. I really like the game script this week for Buffalo against Houston. You have to imagine they're up by a fair amount. That puts the ball in Moss's hands a little bit more. I think he's also got good touchdown equity in this game. The touchdowns can get spread around a lot in Denver. I would say this. I think Moss is the safer play here. Isaiah Wright wants to know, hey, Joe, lost Claypool this week. I'm sorry, Isaiah. Should I start Will Fuller or Rondale Moore, full PPR? A very tricky one. In this matchup, I'm going to go with Will Fuller. I think he brings a little bit more touchdown equity. I think Moore's going to play well in this game, but I think Will Fuller by a hair is where I would go in this one. Blake is up next here. Blake, Cook, Madison, Pollard, Sermon, full PPR. Is there a question in there somewhere? I don't understand. If it's Dalvin Cook, it's Dalvin Cook. That's it. Dalvin Cook, bro. How many times? You're playing Dalvin Cook. If Dalvin Cook is healthy enough to play, he's in my lineup no matter what. And on that note, because I don't want to bro anyone again for the rest of this morning, because you've all asked some very good questions. I want to say thanks again for your questions. Again, make sure you check out the sponsor of today's show and start to break the chain of where things are going in DFS, because clearly there's opportunity here for you to play DFS in a better way. 85% of people not doing well in DFS. You can change all that at Stat Hero. Go to stathero.com right here. Sign up for free today and use that promo code FantasyPros. So we're going to close things out here and we're going to pass them off. Chris has already had 2 bowls of Magic Spoon. I want to thank everybody again. Subscribe to Fantasy Pros right now. Dan Harris up next. We'll see you next time, kids. Have a great week 4.